The one who thinks of his biceps as soon as he hears the word protein is not completely far off. But there are other way more important things about the protein topic than its role in the muscle growth process. You will soon find out what proteins really are and what exactly they are capable of doing. So, what exactly are proteins, and what does that have to do with egg white or egg albumin? First of all, proteins are also called egg whites in some languages. But pay attention, that does not mean that egg whites fully consists of protein. Let us start off with the structure of proteins. Proteins consists of long chains of amino acids and look like this, for example. The smallest protein consists of a single amino acid and the biggest one of more than 30,000. Actually, short amino acid chains with up to 10 amino acids are called peptides. The connection of 2 amino acids is called dipeptides, of 3, triteptides, of 4, tetrapeptides, and so on. Connections with more than 10 amino acids are called polypeptides or many peptides. Connections with more than 100 amino acids are called proteins. One protein is not like another. They are the most different versions and combinations of amino acids. Proteins are constructed based on a DNA construction plan that is stored in the DNA. They decide what we are and how we differ from each other. Basically, proteins are somehow the building blocks and the gearbox of our body and cells. When we take a closer look at their structure, it becomes apparent that proteins have multiple structures, such as the primary, the secondary, the tertiary, and the quaternary structure. Peptide bonds between the amino acids serve as the foundation of proteins. A human basically has 21 amino acids. The individual amino acids connect through peptide bonds and evolve into chains. Imagine a pearl necklace where each pearl stands for an amino acid. The arrangement of amino acids is protein's primary structure. Each amino acid has side chains on top of that. Those can be negatively or positively charged, uncharged, polar, or nonpolar. These different characteristics can lead to intramolecular interactions, either through ionic bonds or hydrogen bridges. In addition to that, there are van der Waals forces, which are responsible for interactions between atoms. These attractive forces tangle the polypeptide up, which is then called folding. The secondary structure comes into place when the side chains of the amino acids interact with each other on a regular level, so that an alpha helix develops, for example, or a beta sheet. It is basically a three-dimensional structure of a polypeptide strand. Tertiary structure is understood as the folding of those alpha helices or beta sheets. As you can see, that folding process looks rather like a big mess. Well, at least it's very colorful. We speak of a quaternary structure when the whole thing develops into another functional complex, the fourth type of structure. That also works with the help of hydrogen bridges, ionic bonds, and nonpolar interactions. And what are their tasks? Generally speaking, proteins have different areas of responsibility. Let's take a look at those. Back to the biceps again. Yes, proteins are the main component of muscles. The fed proteins do not go straight to the muscle, but first become amino acids and are then further constructed into proteins that are needed in the muscles. They give structure and contribute to the movement of the body because proteins are components of the skin, bones, nails, hair, and so on. And as we've mentioned before, the muscles. Many of them are inside or attached to the cell membrane. There they can, for example, work like an ion channel and regulate the number of ions. That is extremely important in the neural system. As a transporting protein, they enable substances to enter or exit the membrane or transport substances into another cell. They can also be signaling proteins or hormones and transfer messages. But they also fulfill functions outside the cells, or serve as antibodies during immune defense. As enzymes, proteins enable every reaction inside the cells, among others, the production of substances, but also the transformation of proteins themselves. Proteins, but in the end, also amino acids, can give off energy during the breaking down process or convert sugar into fat. There is no protein storage like there is for sugar in the form of glycogen or fat in the fat tissue. Proteins have more functions, like protection in the form of defense, for example. Snake and scorpion poisons are also proteins. They are called toxins. Even spider webs consist of proteins. Moreover, proteins are responsible for the radiance of bioluminescent plants and animals. If you want to know how that whole thing works, just check out the video we made about that. By the way, the correct chemical name of the biggest protein is the longest word in the whole world, with 189,819 letters. As we can see, biomolecules are the alpha and omega for the living beings of planet Earth. If you are interested in more fresh biomolecules, then take a look at the other videos in our playlist. Proteins are basically everywhere. Briefly said, proteins are amino acid chains with at least 100 amino acids that are encoded in DNA. We have 4 levels of structure: the primary structure, the secondary structure, the tertiary structure, and the quaternary structure. And those have different tasks. Their area of responsibility includes movement, structure construction and preservation, control and regulation, transport, protection and defense, catalysts, and the storage of example nutrients. Proteins also occur in luminescent or toxic creatures. That's it for now. We hope we didn't overwhelm you with all this information. Have an awesome day. Ciao.